All right, chapter 5, the writings of Abaris. I write in terrible times. My people have been driven to black despair, and the most cruel of foes have taken our fair land. The wisdom which flows through my pen, tutored by Isbathaden the younger, is as set into writing by our father Aristolus, and by the great ones who gave us the annals Romanorum, which we hold in part, clinging like the thunder vine to what is left. I am no weaver of words, and if fine phrases bedeck what I transcribe, they are the work of better hands than mine. I am not as a teller of tales who sits before the hall fire, a waster of words like women over the fuller's tub. Those who wear the red robes of nobility have passed over the misty seas, and the land lies barren of learning. The Firth Rig have taken over the dwellings of the wise, and the three pillars of progress, wisdom, courage, and beauty, no longer stand against mere magic. I speak of one named Jesus, who was Jesus, come to earth as a godling, the much abused one, but does not the lawman whose case is bad abuse his opponent. I speak of those who followed him and suffered in the dark days of oppression. The anger of the people smoldered against the just ones, as Jesus had foretold while still in the body. Then the time came when the dragon of disaster awoke, thirsting for blood, and it began to stalk its prey, while liemongers fanned the smoldering embers of hatred into flame. The king of the land was stirred up to anger, and the hatred of the people became an all-consuming fire. The wolves came out of their dark forest and suddenly fell upon the flocks of innocent sheep and rent them apart. Wild bears burst among the sheepfolds and ravaged them. Evil, motivated ones came and cut down the apple-bearing trees, and the star-lit nights were woeful. Beasts trampled the flower gardens while eagle hawks swooped down among the dovecotes. The earthen ones broke. The called-out servants of the high god entered the arena of vile entertainment like children before their teachers. They were thrown into the path of the lions. Some they equipped with weapons and forced to fight with bears. Women were scented with the smell of heat-angered beasts, and children stood frozen with fright. Their bodies were shredded like the paper of Egypt. They moaned pitifully like oxen awaiting the slaughter, and their children were murdered before their eyes. They were raised up by thongs on the wrists, their feet pressing on thorns or on heated plates or over small fires. Many were thrown into prisons to die of hunger, thirst, and cold. In the days when the Druthan looked darkly on the enlightened ones, the hammer of God said to the king, "Is it in the nature of people placed such as we to fear those who wield the weapons? But we have one who is more to be feared than you, and he is one to whom I look up. I stand in awe of the great one who is strong enough to overlook your present power, but who will surely call you to account in the life to come." The king said, "Where is your temple?" The reply was, "A true servant of God has no need of a temple built of wood and stone." It was to tell of such things that the anointed one came, to awaken sleeping men drunk with the heavy draughts of sensuality and lewdness. He came to open the eyes of men to their carnal degradation, which corrupts their spiritual natures. He came to open their eyes to the divine destiny and to show them the hidden sparks of divinity captive and suffering in the carnal natures of apathetic men. There are those who prefer the dregs of darkness to the living power of light, which flows from Jesus, son of dewy, sap of the trees, sweetness of the fruits, and perfume of the flowers, bread of heaven and shepherd of souls. He is the river of sweet waters arising at the spring of truth. I am an unworthy one in the telling of these tales. Great inspirer, give me a ray of inspiration to raise my voice, as it were, from the mystic cauldron, sister vessel, to the ice-clear chalice. I will lay the dowry of the mystic maid at the feet of the discriminating ones. The smoothness of my lay flows from the bubbling brew from out of the great cauldron. I am one of God's inspired and not numbered among mere poets yapping at the heels of the high-browed bards. I am not one aspiring to the noble chair, whose words must be proved by privilege and truth. Where are the grave, high-browed druids of the past and the wonder-making bards? Those who thrive today cannot rise to the sky heights of song, even though their melody-making wings ache with fluttering. They are like the food pot placidly bubbling over the red-graying coals. O comforter of the comely tribes, welcome me into the lush dominions of field and forest. O champion of the threshing sharp spear, hear my petition thrown out into the three-circled expanses of power. Let us feast at the overflowing cauldrons of peace, and let us, your people, sleep in the downy, heather-scented beds of tranquility. Protect the holy sanctuary of the blue-gowned bards, where valor is honored and chastity cherished. The raging assailants, protectors of slothful ways, laborers of concealed mysteries, surround us. We call on the guardian bulwark of celestial power to become the smasher of shields. How straitly comfortable a scribe am I, who reconciles the mystic daughter with the lowly mother, who places the crystal-clear chalice beside the blood-filled golden cup, who combines the divine circle with the eternal cross, and the sorrowful son with the triumphant fighting father. In the beginning, only the Absolute existed in the firmament, called Nevri by the Britons and Cugant by the Welsh of the West. The spirit of life spread outwards from the hub to the Gwynfydun, the region of light in the circle of spirituality. This opened out to Anton, which is the circle of germinal existence, at the inner edge of which was the circle of corporeality. This spread out to Abred, which is the material plane in the circle of trial, testing, and tribulation. It is a place of experiment and experience for gaining knowledge, wisdom, and spirituality. Below this is Anun, the sea of souls. Here is the lake of unspecialized soul stuff, which is forged and fashioned in Abred and perfected in Gwynfydun. In Abred was the garden of Karahamish, through which flowed the river Nara. Here dwelt Kaylee and Kithwin. Here were born Derwidon, the first of the Druthan, Gwynfydon, who composed the first song, and Tydan, who was the first bard. It is said that there were two classes of druids, the Dryaunts, who were masters of medicine and divination, and the Druthan, who were superior and gifted with twine sight and magic. The first had their seat at Aubrey, while the Druthan had their seat in Innisalvalon, the island of indestructible apples. The Druids believed in the one supreme being, but also held that there was a body of lesser being. They believed in the fairyland of nature spirits, which manifested the mortals. All happenings were motivated by the interplay of unseen rays from the source. Therefore, the running of a hare, flight of birds, fall of leaves, patterns in sand, the sound of waters were meaningful. Their 7 deadly sins were hypocrisy, theft, cowardice, fornication, gluttony, indolence, and extortion. Above all precepts were the 3 manly qualities, honor, courage, and manliness, and the 3 womanly qualities of decency, decorum, and chastity. There were female temple attendants, but no female druids. The druids who taught were called Nemids. There were wraiths who knew the secrets of nature, and these would not eat birds. Once every 3 years there was a fire walking. Under the great night reflector, only 4 animals appear as ghosts: the dog, cat, horse, and hare. The ghosts of these could be forewarners of the crack of doom. Will-o-wisps haunt the marshlands, but few are enlivened by Annis. Nick the nights haunt the stony places and fells. Joseph Idlewin and his brave band came to flowering Britain 3 years after the death of Jesus. He converted Gladys, sister of Caradu, who married a Roman, and her sister Agra, who was the wife of Salog, lord of Carlslog. After landing, he and his band passed through an avenue of oaks and standing stones. They first built huts over against the holy vineyard where the fruits were bitter. After all the saints had gone to their rest, the first church and its surroundings became a wild place of refuge for wild creatures. Then, as the land remained holy, saints came from Gaul who restored it, and one was Fergus the Briton, who had served as this place as a youth. Edwin was buried in a shirt of fine linen which he had worn when burying Jesus, and which was stained with 3 spots of blood on the chest. He was buried by the 2-forked cross. The saints had lived in 12 huts around a never-diminishing well at the foot of the holy hill. Joseph Edwin was related to Amalek, whose kingdom bordered that of Arvagaris, through Anna the Unfaithful. He converted Claudia Rufina, the daughter of Caradu, previously called Gladys, who married Pudens, a Roman, and had a daughter, Pudentia. In his 28th year, Caradu was betrayed to the Romans by Arissa, queen of Bryantis, who he married Genesia, daughter of Claudius, to bind the peace agreement. The name Caradu means filled with love, but he preferred to use a warrior name. Gladys, sister of Caradu, married Aulus Platinus, a Roman commander. Caradu held an estate in Siluria, and he was made war chief when Guiderius, son of Kimberlin, was slain by a slingshot near the river Thames. In the year 59 of our Lord, the British rose up Tinder Wodica, the horse fighter, who died nearly 3 years later when Golgaz became war chief. Caradu went forth with the bright, flashing, sharp-pointed spears of war. Bards, renowned judges of excellence, sang his praise. Even druids of the 3 great circles launched their eloquence in the 5 dialects and 4 tongues. Dancers from the steep mountain gaily preceded him, and diviners from the high-pillared gates declared wise oracles. I am one who lived in those brave days. It is my right to be the master singer, for I stand in the last line of blood from the golden strong-armed kings of old. My father's father was a bard of high enclosure, prince of the true tribe, high caller of the Kimwi, a giant of song born of melodic race, light-tongued, sharp-voiced. Well fitted am I to sing Caradu's praise, accepting great Keeley and the all-seeing diviners of the land, and Sadduceus druids of the fine-woven gold chains, and chiefs of the splendid wars. I am first above all to open his mouth in honor. He honored all blue-gowned bards, singing bards of the land, guardians of the storehouses of winged words. Guests such as I were never wanting for provision while Caradu reigned, a high king over the wide land of heroes. He paid them well in sleek, fleeted limb coursers, chasers of wind-borne hair. The valorous druids, feared by foes, the flowing-robed judges of disputes, said, "Let songs be composed with melodious refrains to praise the savage subduing heroes." The power of the bard is in the uplifted shield shaking before the tumult, high riding on the battle leader's shoulder. It is in the quivering hair crouching in the bracken-buried hollow. It is in the soft sighing promises of a fair-skinned maiden. In the finely shaped form of the terrible spear blade, in the bright-bladed sword clashing in the heat of the conflict, in the homely, comforting abode of the family. I have sung my last day, the wonder days have gone, and strangers walk the land. The high-hearted bards have gone to their rewards, and the diviners' mouths have been sealed. Now it is the fashion to hear the babbled words of Bragadon, of Walzogo, which stand before the resounding halls, by the stream of sorrow at the very gates of hell. The purifying Kolgarth fires remain as transmuters to heaven. Happy is the flame-born one. Our father of old believed that fire was a form of creature which had to be fed with fuel, given share of the food, and in stressful times the sacrifice of a human. They who read the flames and embers are no longer with us, for they have been supplanted by the omen readers. As dogs can see happenings in the world of spirits, then whatever they do is important, and a wise man watches them and takes heed. For if a dog sleeps before the fire, all is well. Be at peace. If he sleeps on a bed, then beware. To sleep in a corner means strife, and to howl means a death. The crouch and whimper indicates the presence of a spirit. Happy are the bright spirits in Elendon, the glorious sky isle, where they await their call to return. All here have the Kalite around their heads. Come night, they visit earth in their dreams. If there be confusion in dreaming, then there is confusion in the daily round of life. Dream without confusion and see clearly, and you know you live well. Seek not to dream through the spotted elfin cap, though it give enormous strength, visions, and the gift of prophecy. Do not dream with the dung child, as did the seers of olden times. Do not look through the window of the egg vessel. These things are forbidden to you. Nor may you consult the tree-bound maiden who, in truth, is the viper-blown Glened. That which was done on the high night of summer shall be done no more. Gems from the serpent must not be sought, nor may you follow the swainship, though that which it bears within itself may be yours. Even so, it is unwise to bring the majestic sun down to incarnate in a stone. Know the secret of the sonship, and all wisdom will be rewarded. Seek it at Karelin. Those worthy ones who could drink from the glory gladden are no longer a voice for the land, but there is a new chalice at the well. The phoenix sleeps in the holy hole of Caparel. If a man would know the mystery of life, the secret of these things, he must climb the mountain of tears in the vale of the dead. At the trysting place of the sun and the moon chalice. Thence must he go to the place of Brandigan, following the path of mysteries. If he does by the wanderer's way, he is lost. The secret of Doivia is known to the knights of Caerdwin, who sit within the sacred circle. They fight the never-ending war with the powers of darkness. It is victory in the conflict of the soul which entitles the warrior to drink the cup of immortality. The knights of Caerdwin seek in a never-ending quest. The wisdom of the way by which knights and their ladies live is, let men follow the natures and ways of men, and women follow the natures and ways of women, and let each serve the other rightly. The heart of Britain is the moon chalice, which was brought here by the hands of chief of the Cassini. He came shipborne to Rafinna, which is by the Mount of Lud against Ardmol, passing Innsbruck. He came to Ithene, where he hid the treasure of Trebetho. It was not captured, as men say, nor could it decay. In the fullness of time, it came to Caerdwin. There it was kept secure with the Grailstone and the ever-virgin vessel, which was brought down the rays of the sun. Thus it was that these treasures of Egypt became to Britain. This was the secret of Britain.